Good evening. We're starting People's Court today with a bit of breaking news coming in. The National Investigation Agency is stepping up its efforts to ensure that Zakir Naik, accused of radicalizing youth with his hate speech and money laundering, is brought to book. In fact, the NIA has petitioned the court to declare him an absconder and also seize his properties. So the man who is accused of radicalizing youth in India and other parts of the world with his speeches is now going to have his properties confiscated in all likelihood as well. And this is going to happen sooner rather than later because a plea has already been made by the National Investigation Agency. We'll keep our eye on that story. In fact, a big interview also coming up in People's Court. Former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Farooq Abdullah weighs in on whether the ouster of Nawaz Sharif, his resignation from the Prime Minister's post, is going to spell trouble in Kashmir. What can India and what can all parts of the country, including Kashmir, expect from this political turmoil that Pakistan finds itself in? That and much more. It was in the pipeline for quite a while, but that doesn't mean that its impact was any less. Major political shake-up in Pakistan. Nawaz Sharif forced to step down from the post of the country's Prime Minister. This after his country's Supreme Court disqualified him as the PM and even barred his daughter from contesting elections. But he has ensured that a puppet PM, a proxy PM, is in place with his brother Shahbaz taking over. And he's gone again. Kicked out of the Prime Minister's office again. After being found guilty on charges of money laundering and corruption, Nawaz Sharif became the latest victim of the Panama Papers. To add to Nawaz's misery, his daughter too is barred from contesting elections. Celebrations followed the judgment. Nawaz Sharif's party tried to put up a brave face, calling the trial unjust. His political future is in jeopardy and he'll have to choose his next step carefully, with very few options still left to salvage his position. The former PM can appeal against the verdict with a higher bench of the Pakistan Supreme Court. He can also wait till the probe by the National Accountability Bureau is complete. In the meantime, it is Nawaz's own brother Shahbaz who will succeed him. A move seen as an installation of a proxy PM so Nawaz can still call the shots. It's a major shake-up in Pakistan's politics, but one that may strengthen the hand of the Pakistan Army in running the country. With Hamza Amir in Islamabad and Geeta Mohan in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today. Well, Pakistan is welcome to have its own politics, but as far as India is concerned, we have only one question that needs to be answered. With Nawaz Sharif removed from the Prime Minister's post, what implications will this have on India and, more importantly, on Kashmir?
Let there be no mistake. The end of the road for Pakistan's Nawaz Sharif is ominous news for Indian security agencies and everything that India is currently battling. A doomed corrupt politician who still indulged in the odd outreach to India is now finished from the corridors of Pakistani power, leaving his country once again in the hands of the all-powerful Pakistan Army, an organization that has amplified its core mission in a big way this year to bleed India and fuel terrorism in the Kashmir Valley. Pakistan has never had political stability, but the fresh spiral of total chaos means that Indian defense forces will need to be even more watchful of an even more arrogant Pakistan Army. From January to June this year, the Pakistan Army violated ceasefire along the line of control, staggering 216 times, with no signs of a let-up so far. The fall of Nawaz Sharif, already a feeble voice in the functioning of Pakistan, means that the Pakistan Army towers even higher and stronger to carry out its murderous will against India. Is a grave security atmosphere that India is battling, with daily cross-border fire across the LC alongside terrorist infiltration on one side and the tense standoff with Chinese soldiers in the Sikkim area marching towards a 2-month mark. This is the closest India has gotten to a live two-front conflict scenario without actual hostilities breaking out. India is ever prepared for political chaos in Pakistan, but the current turmoil pushes the gears on an already volatile situation, one that will test the Narendra Modi government to the fullest. Bureau Report, India Today.
So how should India deal with the new dispensation with the new Prime Minister? Major General Harsha Kakkar is joining us live on the People's Court. Also Tilak Devashar. He's former Special Secretary with the Cabinet Secretariat and former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Farooq Abdullah. Mr. Abdullah, I'll come to you first as a former CM and as someone who has dealt with Nawaz Sharif. First of all, how do you view his disqualification and now his stepping down?
Well, I think it is what law has done. The judges have heard both sides, and finally they have decided that Nawaz Sharif Saab has been found guilty. Now he'll get an opportunity again to be able to defend this verdict. It has created a turmoil in our neighborhood. We do not know what will be the end result of this turmoil. Whether there will be a martial law, whether there will be a military rule, we do not know.
No, but doesn't that seem like a foregone conclusion that this is going to strengthen the army's hold?
I think the army is already quite strong in Pakistan. They are stronger than the people's government. I think this will further increase their power.
No, but if the army's power is increased, what does that mean for Kashmir? And in that sense, having Nawaz Sharif around rather than having the military in control, was he then a necessary evil? Would we have rather that he continued?
I think we have had enough trouble. What will they increase it to? It's already happening. The bombing is taking place on our borders. Our villages are suffering. Women, children are dying. Our soldiers are dying. I think it's already happening. What will be the future course of the new government? We'll have to wait and see.
But Mr. Abdullah, there's this another school of thought which says that actually it is much better to deal directly with the military. Why even have this fig leaf of a civilian government that India is dealing with? And also that when Pakistan was actually ruled by a military dictator, that is Pervez Musharraf, that's when the two countries had reached the closest to finding some sort of solution. Do you think that maybe then being the devil's advocate, that is a much better situation for us?
Military has always had power. That is one thing you should understand. It is the military that has the power, far more than they have in India, and they will continue to have power, irrespective of what has happened.
All right, Dr. Abdullah, thank you very much for joining us. Opening comments, Mr. Devashar. What do you make of what's happening in our neighborhood? Should we be concerned, unmoved, business as usual?
Well, we should certainly be concerned whatever happens in neighboring countries, but I think so we need to be worried. This was long in happening. Nawaz Sharif had been conducting himself over the years and assumed a certain amount of arrogance that he couldn't really sort of care for the institutions. And he's got his comeuppance, and the courts have found him guilty on evasion, on corruption, and a whole host of issues. And he's going to be facing a lot of court cases over the next year or two at least. So we should be concerned, we should be watchful, but I don't think so we should be really worried what's happening in Pakistan.
Because why I ask you this is that these corruption charges have been around for a while. It's only now that they've suddenly currency, and the PMLN, do you think is it entirely unjust for them to argue that this is another bloodless coup through the Supreme Court that he has been subjected to, because a strong Nawaz Sharif is something that the army would want.
I won't agree with you there at all. You see, first of all, this whole Panama Papers thing is not the army's doing. It is the Investigative Journalist Consortium which brought this out in April 2016, where they leaked 11 million documents of this Panamanian law firm. The army, Pakistan Army, had nothing to do with it. Second, the Pakistan Army has been as strong as it has been, continues to dominate foreign policy, security issues, the nuclear issue. So a strong Nawaz Sharif or a weak Nawaz Sharif really made no difference to the Pakistan Army in its core interests. And third, if, as people say, that Shehbaz Sharif is going to be the next Prime Minister, Shehbaz Sharif was always Nawaz Sharif's go-to man whenever any problems arose with the army. It was he who would go and meet the generals and sort out and smoothen the way. So if Shehbaz Sharif becomes the Prime Minister, he'll have a smooth sailing as far as the army is concerned. So the equations will not change. The army will not become stronger because it already is very strong. The only way it can become stronger if it takes a military coup.
In fact, he is now going to take over as Prime Minister. It's quite clear Shehbaz Sharif is going to take over from Nawaz Sharif.
I believe so, yes.
Yes. General Kakkar, do you agree with Mr. Devashar?
I agree with him to a large extent. Firstly, what are the things that the army can do which they are not doing? They go to, I mean, the cross-border firing is on, ceasefire violations are on, infiltration attempts are on, supporting the separatists, pumping in money through the IS is on. What have we been able to do? We've been retaliating to ceasefire violations as hard as we can, which we will continue to do. We've been culling the terrorists as they cross the border, which we will continue to do. The NIA has taken the separatists out of the scene. We've controlled the atmosphere there, and we'll continue to do it. The fact only remains that Nawaz Sharif could have been a stumbling block in trying to tell the army, look, let's keep it under control, let's not take it overboard, which is the only thing which may now get out. Today, if you look at the Pak High Commissioner in India, he doesn't listen to Nawaz. That's just the reason why he was superseded. He listens to the army. So that is what is going to continue to happen. As far as India is concerned, the army always had control. It will continue having control, and it will continue ensuring that the government toes their line, rather than they towing the government's line as far as India and Afghanistan, both of us, are concerned.
All right.
So not much is going to change. We need not really get super worried that Nawaz is out.
All right, just stay with me, gentlemen, because we've got a first reaction coming in from the former military dictator of Pakistan, General Pervez Musharraf. Let's listen into that.
पाकिस्तानियों के लिए आज का दिन बहुत अहम तारीखी दिन रहा है. आज के दिन सुप्रीम कोर्ट बेंच ने 5 मेंबर बेंच ने नवाज शरीफ को नाअहल करार दिया है. इसके लिए मैं उस सुप्रीम कोर्ट की बेंच स्पेशली उसको बहुत दिली मुबारकबाद देता हूं कि उन्होंने बहुत दलेराना एक फैसला दिया है जो ऐन हक और इंसाफ के मुताबिक है. और जनरली मैं तमाम सुप्रीम कोर्ट को भी मुबारकबाद देना चाहूँगा, और ख़ास तौर पे मैं GIT के मेंबर्स 4 मेंबर जिन्होंने इतनी बहादुरी दिखाकर तमाम थ्रेट्स के बावजूद उन्होंने इतनी अच्छी इन्वेस्टिगेशन रिपोर्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट बेंच को आगे दी है. ये फैसला इसके मैं पूरी तरीके से मैं इसके सपोर्ट में हूँ. बहुत अच्छा फैसला है कि नवाज शरीफ को इन्होंने नाअहल करार दिया है. और इसके अलावा जो 6 लोग हैं, यानी इनके तीनों बच्चे नवाज शरीफ के, नवाज शरीफ खुद, इनके सन इन लॉ कैप्टन सफदर और इसाक डार जो समधी शहदैन के, इनके जो नैब को जो ऑर्डर दिया गया है कि रेफरेंस दायर किया जाए, ये बिल्कुल ये बहुत सही है. अब इनकी ट्रायल शुरू होनी चाहिए और इनको कानून के मुताबिक इनके अगेंस्ट फैसले होने चाहिए, इनको सजा मिलनी चाहिए. अब इसमें मैं ये और ऐड करना चाहता हूं कि एक तो मैं समझता हूं इनको बाहर नहीं जाने देना चाहिए, एक ECL पे रहना चाहिए इन्हें. दूसरी चीज मैं अपने बारे में सोचता हूं तो मैं ये जब ये 2008 में मैंने रिजाइन किया और ये पीपल्स पार्टी वाले आए, आसिफ जरदारी आए, उसके बाद 2013 में नवाज शरीफ आए, तो मैं हमेशा मैं अल्लाह ताला से गिला मेरा जरूर था کہ یہ کیسے یہ جھوٹ کی فتح کیوں ہو رہی ہے, جھوٹ اور فریب کی فتح کیسے, اور سچائی کی شکست ہو رہی ہے. تو لیکن آج پتہ ہوا, وہ کہتے ہیں نا اللہ تعالیٰ کی لاٹھی بے آواز ہے, وہ آج پتہ ہو گیا کہ نہیں, جھوٹ اور فریب کی فتح کبھی نہیں ہوتی ہے. اور یہ اللہ تعالیٰ ان کے علاوہ اور لوگ جو جھوٹ اور فریب اور ملک کو جنہوں نے لوٹا ہے, ملک کو جو کھنگال کیا ہے, ان سب کو قانون کے شکنجے میں آنا چاہیے.
In fact, let me also get in my colleagues, Foreign Affairs Editor Geeta Mohan reporting from Delhi and Hamza Amir reporting from Islamabad. I want to ask you first, Hamza, what next for Nawaz Sharif? He'll have his brother take over, but what is he planning to do next?
Well, I think, this is very clear that Nawaz Sharif's political career when it comes to sitting in ruling governments is far now, it's actually gone out of the window. What he will do is that, sit in the think tanks and or behind back doors, run the leadership of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz from the back end, somewhat the same way as the Interior Minister Chaudhry Nisar Ahmed said that he will not contest elections anymore, but he will sit at the background and he will manage the party itself. So I think this is the way forward for Nawaz Sharif himself, because bringing his brother Shehbaz Sharif in as the Prime Minister and Shehbaz Sharif bringing his son as the Chief Minister of Punjab actually is a very strong and positioning of PMLN itself, because they will actually not only take over and the Punjab region itself again as it is expected, because Hamza Shehbaz Sharif has been groomed to take over Punjab, while Shehbaz Sharif with his track which is very strong as a chief minister might actually be a very strong person to lead the country. Not only that, he's also got very strong relations with the military establishment. So that institutional divide and confrontation that PMLN is confronted with because of Nawaz Sharif every time and now, I think that is going to be sorted out this time around, because Shehbaz Sharif is one of those who are in the good books of the military establishment.
What is the thinking in India right now, Geeta? Does Nawaz Sharif's replacement with Shehbaz Sharif change anything at all? Because at least in principle, Nawaz Sharif was for good relations with India, even if that did not materialize on ground.
Well, Padmaja, is that question for me?
Yes, Geeta. Yes, Geeta, go on.
Well, the thinking in India certainly is, as many other panelists have been saying, that foreign policy and Pakistan's India policy, Padmaja particularly so, is a continuum. It continues from one chief to the other. It does not continue or break away from the past, from one civilian dispensation to the other. And here there is no change in government. The change will happen, or a continuation will happen in 2018 when elections will take place. Right now what we are only looking at are two instances of dynasty politics over here, and at two different levels. One is Shehbaz Sharif taking over from Nawaz Sharif, and the other is Hamza Sharif taking over from Shehbaz Sharif as the Chief Minister of the Punjab. So clearly what we are looking at over here is a continuum in the civilian dispensation as well, but more importantly a message from the Pakistani army to the civilian government that no policy when it comes to India can be or no decision can be taken by any civilian government without the nod of the Pakistani army chief. What happened in Ufa was certainly something that made Pakistani army absolutely unhappy with Kashmir being left out of that statement. And now in terms of repercussions, ramifications, it certainly is going to be a continuum, because Pakistani army controls Pakistan's India policy.
All right, for now, thank you very much, all gentlemen, and Geeta, for joining us on this story. It's something that we'll have our eye on. That's it then on today's edition of People's Court. Thanks very much for having tuned in.